Hi, Maggie. This is Alka from Global Women Power. And we are
Hello.
hi. So we are here in our series of Meet Our Sheroes. And we invite women of eminence, prominence to be our guest and share their story of success. So the way we proceed on that is then you just tell us what you're doing today and how did you start and where are you going with that vision or dream of yours.
Okay.
So over to you, Maggie.
All right. So one of the things that I've been working on most recently is that my daughter and I formed what's called the Tracy Theater Arts Collaborative. And what that means is that we are looking to broaden and build up the perspective of opportunities for performing arts for individuals from very young to our senior community. We've been working on something like this for at least 10 years here locally, but my history of being involved in performing arts goes back to when I was a child. So actually, I'm the youngest of 12 children. And so we kind of created our own performing arts at all times, if you could say that. So it was always us. It's not like today. So it was always us getting the opportunity to entertain ourselves, be, I'll call it out of our parents' way at times when things otherwise needed to get done, but always driven. So we were always encouraged, always, regardless of, kind of where we stood in the line of the kids and that kind of thing. So I had 6 brothers, 5 sisters. So we're always in a creative kind of mindset. And so through school, through high school, I went to a very great high school, had an awesome theater in Campbell, California, and got exposure there to performing arts. I've traveled as a singer across the US and in performing in that regard. And so my daughter and I wanted to bring that here locally, and it just didn't exist for our community.
So you will be working to progress it further?
Yes, we have formed the 501c3 organization. I'm the CEO, and what we will have, I'll call it within the infrastructure of the company itself, would be what we call a production team. And so for each performance that we have directors and of course cast members, as well as stage management, etc., all of the technical crew. And we will provide at the local theater for opportunities of education. So people that are brand new, people that are have done some, but maybe not for a while, and some that are seasoned performers as well. And so we'll be providing that education opportunities, and some that will also provide individuals that have been involved and maybe some more closer, I'll call it, to the Broadway stage, maybe doing some master classes and things like that for us, because it's really critical for a lot of the individuals to be wanting to have that, and it just hasn't been available. So education is prime. Opportunities, regardless of where anybody comes from or what the experience level is. Ours is really focused on this. We feel that performing arts really changes lives. We've seen from those as we've grown up in our own life, mine and my daughter's, that from those that I'll say are cloistered in the corner, have sometimes not had some opportunities to be in an environment such as this, even though they may have been very talented. A lot of times actors, actresses, and things like that do have, they'll be the one maybe at the table by themselves. And so we're really trying to reach out and build up character, help them build up character, being able to believe in themselves. And for us, one of the biggest delights is when there is a performance going on, that we see those light bulbs come on, and they feel that confidence and that belief that they are somebody and that they are capable of doing many things every day.
So before this 501c, were you gainfully employed or you were still doing something of your own?
Yeah, for about 25 plus years, I was a marketing executive in high tech in the Bay Area and in a couple other locations and multiple different companies. I traveled around the world a lot. And part of that time in concert with that, with my daughter being in school, I would help do vocal direction or things like that for her productions that she was in. And so I've had that opportunity as well. And anytime I had a chance to participate in another culture, all depending on the countries and stuff that I got to visit, I always tried to take that opportunity for just understanding uniqueness, and just the way that the characterizations and stuff as to how entertainment and stuff would be the same or different from what we're able to do here. So I did a lot of things concurrently. So yes, I had a full-time job and I also did theater on the side. So it's just kind of again, the way my life is. And I just, something I really enjoy. It's an area where I wanted to be able to devote my time on the side again to help individuals be able to achieve.
Quite
What music
different,
did you sing?
technology is completely cut and dry. And isn't it?
Well, where I got to participate in the high-tech area of marketing, I had a unique position to where I worked a lot with the high-tech individuals, the ones that know all of the details, the engineerings, all the techs and specs and things like that, which I am not that familiar with. But my responsibility was then translating that into marketing language for the everyday citizen, if it was for things such as products that we would carry every day, or to businesses as to how that could turn into the bottom line and how it could affect their personnel or their overall business. And so a lot of it is, I'll call it selling every day, even though I was in marketing. I tell everybody my whole job every day was to either sell a company or an individual or getting people to understand what it was that we could bring to the table. And then the other area that I fell into, because I did travel so much, if you haven't traveled a lot on aircraft, sometimes 10, 14-hour flights, the air doesn't circulate very nicely from time to time. So I'd have some issues sometimes with sleeping, sometimes with breathing well, and just, adjusting to different air kinds of environments wherever I would travel. And so I got into also looking at holistic health, which just means using natural products so that I could breathe better, so I could use, my skin gets really sensitive. And so just exploring that in some of the countries, again, that I was able to travel into gave me some opportunities to look at exposure of what I could learn in that area. And that, again, brought me to, so when we do productions, we want everybody to be healthy, because if you have a cast or you have things going on like that, the last thing you want to do is have people that are sick. So we keep kind of a stash of our own, so that we try to explain to everybody the healthier you can keep yourself, the more opportunities, even at that or whatever you choose for your profession to be. So it's very convoluted background, but I tie it all together.
So what is the best mode of expression as far as you are concerned of your creativity?
I think, if I understand it correctly, the thing that we typically work with people the most is what we're used to looking as a whole in most of the world is at film. And so that's done, redone, shot, take 72, take 110. Theater is different. So one of the things that we really try to get everyone in building a character is to use there's three things: your face, your facial expressions, your body, and movement and things like that, and taken aback, and then your voice. And you can have people be calm, you can have people be very bright and outrageous, but that is the things that we try to get them to understand is that, and what we call embracing character, or if it's even them as an individual. embracing that which you really enjoy and letting that out.
What I meant by my question is that, Nancy can best describe herself by cooking, that is her expression of creativity.
Oh,
By
okay.
eating it too.
I'm for that.
And a few
Okay.
of my friends, they were in high tech, but she always wanted to be a painter. So she left her job and now she's teaching painting to, all the spectrum of people. So what is it that you connect with, as your expression as an artist?
Well, I think the attention or connection that I got that leads me to, I'll call performing arts, is through everything that I've ever done. I want to be expressive, but what most people don't realize, and I'll describe myself, is that if there was a big event or a big party, I'd be the one in the corner by myself and not really socializing a whole lot. So I had to learn how to step forward and to do that. So that is part of, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? How can I do it? Not be fake, but just how can I put myself out there to be confident? So it always goes back to me, and I'll call it in performance. And again, I don't mean fake. It's just you bring yourself to who you are, being able. So everything that I do really comes down to that empathy. Even in the performing arts aspect, we basically live with these people for however many weeks or months that we're putting these things together. So we become a mini family. And then what happens when we're done, and then we kind of go off. So it's connecting and really putting ourselves out, because I know what I would normally do is go and hide in the corner, because I used to never be able to come up with what should I say. So a lot of times I would volunteer. I'll lead the event. I'll set the event up, because that meant I got to talk to everybody, because I'd say, it's so nice that you came. Thank you for coming, or that kind of thing, and really start that kind of conversation.
Because, in this world nowadays, I see people lacking ability to express. There's social media, everything is just at the receiving end. Keep receiving, rather express.
Right. Well, it's a big challenge, because most that's brought is negative. It's most of what's brought is not positive for the people. So of any ages, whether it's school individuals, it could be just somebody starting in their first job, or they're in higher school. It's always easy for someone to push a button that brings you down. And so that's why it's important, I think, and what we try to really teach is confidence in yourself. Just, I'm doing my best. I'm doing what I love. And I'm an oddball in the fact that I love what I do. I love getting up. Now, I can't say that I'm glad to get up at 4:30 in the morning sometimes, but I love what I do. I get up, and I can't imagine having something that I hated every day. And I know people that do that. They're doing something they just don't really enjoy at all. So finding those things, or helping people find those things through, kind of gaining who they are as a character. We posted it, or pose it as a character, but it's really we see people have transformed at the beginning of a production. We've worked with them, and when they end, if you didn't know that person ahead of time, you would think they're two different people. And just how that helps them emote who they are and what they can accomplish, and the confidence that they gain.
Nancy, do you have any question?
Yeah, but you mentioned you did singing. What kind of singing did you do?
Well, for years, growing up, my dad always played what he called his box guitar. He was country boy, and so we sang some as a family. But as I got older and during college age time, I toured with a little bit with a gospel girls group, and then I went as a solo artist, and just in the U.S. And then except it always seems like it's somewhere else, but I got to go over to Hawaii for a couple of times. And so that one was really fun.
Okay. Uncle will be back in a minute, probably somebody at the door. So,
Okay.
were you ever surprised, like with like a unannounced, distinguished figure or leader that came to one of your matinees or one of your plays, and it was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, when you're out after a production, of course, everybody's bubbling and, you know, trying to get to see who came for them and stuff. And so it's really exciting when somebody comes up behind you and you go, oh my God, I can't believe they came. So because again, we're doing all the work here. And so a lot of times we don't get involved in the promotion part of it. But yeah, some of it is just friends, and then individuals that I worked with that, you know, that were much higher up than I am. And it's just a lot of curiosity, and then getting their families or their kids involved is what happened.
There's a lot of anxiety, potential
Mhm.
anxiety for actors.
Mhm.
They first start and then they see it's a long, list of what they have to say, and oh, they're afraid they're not going to remember it. How do they overcome it? What do you propose for them?
Well, one of the things that we try to do, and that's to me part of the education, and especially when you have newbies,
Script. The script.
Is the fact of how you enable them to understand the anxiety is something that it's a lot of nervousness. All of us get nervous no matter how long that we've done it. But we just try to focus on the areas of how you can do this. We work one-on-one. We work with a group. We really try to make it more personal. Again, I mentioned a little bit about when we are doing a production, we do almost become like family because we are around each other, you know, at least probably 20 hours plus in a week. And sometimes crammed in the stage or the dressing rooms and things like that. So we work with each other to, if we see somebody struggling, to help deal with that. We practice with them. So a lot of it is just, we see it and we try to address it immediately. A lot of this, again, is put on, we try to get people to see, I'll call them the good sides of the acting industry, and not some of the challenges that because of stardom puts on them and just makes life kind of so much more difficult. And so we remind them, remember where you remember where you started, and wasn't it just an absolute blast and fun? And so
I
that
see. Yeah.
gets it in
Life
front
is
of you.
like a theater where a lot of us, especially meeting someone, you're getting married. We're all good actors at first, but then again, we're always on the stage and
Mhm.
everything around us is watching us. So,
Yeah, and you know what? We all make mistakes, you know,
yeah.
because sometimes people have an anxiety. One of the performances where I was singing one time, I don't know why. And thank goodness I had a pianist playing for me and I was doing a solo number. So, but the audience was still kind of, you know, mumbling a little bit. And so I just walked over and I said, I know this is a stupid question. What is the first line of this song? Because it was nowhere. I could not remember. And so she gave it to me and then I was good. And the whole rest of the set, I'm good. It's just, I don't know why I had the mind block. But I've seen other people, they're in the middle of a number and it's just whatever those lines were went bye-bye. And so we'll support sometimes. One of the most phenomenal opportunities that I saw was when my daughter was in 8th grade and we were doing the play Bye Bye Birdie. And we had one of the cast members just not make an entrance. And so dead air is kind of the kiss of death in theater because so the young man, again, 8th grade, just picked up. So instead of talking into each person like this, he turned it around in English to, speaking about someone and this happening and that. Nobody in the audience knew the difference except those of us that knew the script from front to back. And so it was amazing just to realize that, and I point those out to people to help alleviate anxiety or stress sometimes. Even if it happens, one of us is going to step in to help. we'll pick it up. We'll
There's
do this.
actually a TV program. It's an Indian TV program. I wish I
Mhm.
could understand the language, but I know that, and it's made up of actors, Bollywood actors, and they're given like a short task for 5 minutes. There's one topic, and they have to make up all the details. It's funny though.
Yeah, there is a similar program on TV. I can't remember what they call it, but they're actors, and so they just says, okay, here's the scene, or here's the story.
Yeah.
Like
Now they've
whose
got
line,
it.
like whose line is it? You know?
Yeah, something like that. And so they have to make up the whole scene. And we don't quite put individuals through that. That's a good game plan for parties and stuff for us. But again, building confidence is partly realizing that we're going to be there for them, and they'll see it in rehearsal at times, and how somebody has picked up and nobody turns around and calls them stupid and what a terrible job they did, and just, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it, so and so picked it up, you got it back up, and so we just continue and move on. So, and that's part of it, because that's what we'd like to see in real life. Instead of getting beaten down, we're trying to teach everybody through this that you help somebody. If they are struggling some, step in and just, try to give them a little bit. Oh, it's like they've got it and they're
Some
back
of these
on
big
track.
movies, actors trip over something, something falls on them. It's not part of the script, but it happens. They decided they liked it, they left it in.
Yeah. Oh, all sorts of stuff's been filmed that was not planned originally, but is in. Robin Williams was one of my favorite ones too, because he did impromptu. He was always off script. And so they had extra cameras around just to tape him while he's doing this. So they had some really great nuggets that they would put into a movie that was not originally in there. So he was an expert at that.
So what do you think about your daughter? Like, what is the value she brings in?
She and I, well, I think each, all of us have kind of gifted areas where we excel and really have delight. She typically is the stage and talent manager. So nothing happens on the stage that isn't orchestrated behind the stage. So if that isn't doing, if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing or don't handle things, it becomes very difficult very quickly. So she handles all of the detail behind the scenes. She's great at it, and in that role, they oversee, the backdrops, the props, the costumes, the makeup, everything having to do with behind the stage. And she's fabulous at that. And so she brings a great strength and a different perspective than mine, because I'm always out at the front or trying to, as an exec. Most of these things now, I act as executive producer. Every once in a while, if they need somebody, we did the number from The Greatest Showman, and the bearded lady, when she sings, she's got notes that she hits way up here. We didn't have anybody that could do that. That's my range. So I came in for that one number, and then I'm out for the rest of the production. But typically, as the executive producer, then I am out and with the audience or attendees, or talking to investors or things like that. And part of the education, she and I both sync up really well. Just because we really care and really want to, it's our way to help people. It's different than psychology and things like that people are really good at. This is an area where we feel we gel really well together.
You have a couple of plays that you do as a fundraiser, and does that go towards any particular project or organization? How does that work? And how much do you raise every time you have a play?
It will vary, because it all depends. So the last one we did, there's a wonderful woman named Evelyn Tolbert that did a play, or wrote a play called Our Town, Tracy, USA. And it had not been done for several years because of COVID. And so she had given the rights to the women's club here locally. And so they said, geez, we would really like to do it. Would you direct it? And I said, okay. So So I tried that on. And so it was for the women's club, who actually support many nonprofit organizations. So one of them was like Tracy Interfaith. They actually help the homeless, food, clothes, any type of things that they can help to facilitate for families. and we have bikers against child abuse. So somebody's going through something tough as a child, the bikers will be there. They'll go with them to school. They'll bring them home because they're cool then, type of thing. But they are also there. They'll be there at night, and they are vigilant, looking over and keeping this child safe. So there's all sorts of things within the community. So the Women's Club asked me to do that. And before, they had not made a whole lot on it. So, and so this time I says, well, let's do some sponsors, let's sell the ads, let's do this. So for that, locally, we were very fortunate. So we made about $11,000, which for them, that was really big. And so before, I think it was around $500 that they had made, because it costs a lot of money to do productions. So paying for theater, paying for costumes, makeup. If you have musical rights or play rights, they cost. And so, but we really skinnied through that, and they were delighted. And so again, all that money went right back in.
Yeah, you
to
got
those
to pay
things
for
that
the
they
rights for
support.
the play itself, for the script. That's expensive. That's probably the most expensive.
It's very close. So major plays like there are today that they would allow us to do, approximately $6,000, and then more. All depends on by how many times you do it, how much you charge for the tickets, and those kinds. So there's a calculation that they do. So if you're doing it several weeks, so it's more, because each time they're going to come into there as well. And so right off the bat, you've got to be able to cover that. And then you have rehearsal space and the costume costs, and so all of so any one of our productions, I would say at a minimum would cost us about $25,000 to $30,000 to put on.
Yeah, renting the facility.
Yes, renting the facility and the technical expertise, of the tech crew that they have. So if it's at a theater or whatever the location. One of the things we just got was a grant from the county supervisors for a mobile sound system, because if we have to go anywhere outside of a theater, because we've been wanting to do like a flash mob to be somewhere, and then we come out and we want to do a thing about Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which is what we're doing, do a number, hand out some flyers, and invite him to come see the play. So it's a way for us to do that. But we have the flexibility to do it. And so again, that's almost $30,000 to have just a regular sound system.
Do they give you a discount to lease the lyrics, the play name, and all that, because of being 501c3 nonprofit?
Yeah, they ask us the questions you have to ask when you're talking to the agents. So one of it, what are you? Are you professional? Are you amateur? Of course, we are amateur. And so otherwise, if you're professional, and then how many times, where you're going to perform it, how many times you're going to perform it, what you're going to charge to perform it. And then that's when they come back at you and give you that number that tells you how much they're going to charge you for the rights themselves. And again, that's just the beginning. Now you have it, and now you can perform it, but then all the work goes in place to make it happen.
So do you also take classes online?
We have not put out classes online because we were teaching classes at the Grand Theater when COVID hit. So when they closed everything. And so we are now working back with them to actually put throughout the year to actually have a complete, what I call circular or oval program. So we have a production, more people get interested. We offer classes. We teach from very basics to mid to advanced. In all sorts of things. We do usually at the end of that, whatever's been learned in the class, we'll have a little performance in the studio, and then we'll be then starting to work on the next large production. We'll have some master classes. Some of the people know some of individuals that are with a traveling off-Broadway musical or something. If they come close enough to town, we'll ask them and then do could be a day's production class, and we call those master classes because those are people in the industry sharing kind of, hey, you're doing this. What did you do, or how does it work? and that kind of thing. And we do have, because we have such great talent and school directors and stuff here, they have some students that are now on Broadway, and then some that are traveling with a traveling troupe. So basically, if they're doing Mamma Mia, and they're traveling parts of the U.S. and perform that. So it's that kind of thing.
So do you want to name your website, if you have any?
Well, it's ttheaterarts.org. And Theater email is ttheater@gmail, or ttheaterarts, excuse me, @gmail.com. So it's all Theater Arts. So .com, .org. And we have a website that is becoming more active. As we did the performances, we had pictures done, so now we can post those up. And what was exciting is when we did the Our Town one that I was talking about, we saw the first time they'd ever sold out. So we sold out that house. And when the Grand Theater had asked us to come and perform for Arts Month in April, we sold out the house again. And so that's 500 for, again, big time for us, 548 seats, but there was no extra space in that theater. So that was very exciting for, we had probably a handful of, I think 7 newbies. So had never performed. And what we explained there and in our program tonight, what you're going to see is you'll see things that are not perfect, because we have some brand new people. They're going to be super nervous. They're doing the best that we can. We are working with them. And you're also going to see the other side of that, people that have been doing this for a long time. So you'll get a picture. We did a vaudeville number, we did a Shakespeare number, and then different ones from Broadway. So we try to be very personable with the audience.
How much are tickets?
The tickets for that was $20. That was a 2-hour program.
Not bad at all.
No, we felt that we gave them an extreme amount of value. We got standing ovation at the end. And we had 32 in the cast, ages 13 to 72 for all those numbers.
Impressive. So any idea, any plans on opening in other cities, or?
I'd love to be able to have some like-minded individuals. I'm very specific because, again, for me especially, integrity has to be high. We will not do plays, even though there are great ones, but we are family friendly. And so our objective is to continue to do those kinds of plays. What we may do in Broadway Review is maybe pull a number or so from those musicals, but to do the whole play and to have it be more very far PG-13 or over to that area, it's not something that we produce. And again, it's because we feel we're in a teaching mode, and that affords us that opportunity. And it also then more engages the community to take this ride with us. But it would be great, but it'd be mainly for us to help people to understand how you can do that.
So is this something you want to retire with?
Retire is a funny word for me. So
retire from active life to this.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll fess up. I'm 73 years old. And people think, oh, you're retired. And I says, no, I haven't. I've just kind of shifted as to what I do, as I call it, as a full-time job. I went from doing this part-time and working full-time. Now I do this full-time. And it really ties in, and we do have our holistic business. So I do a lot of work with the Chamber of Commerce. So I see us continuing to, just until I absolutely can't, if I get to that point, to be involved somehow in the performing arts. If it's just either instructing, or if I just get to come and watch for a change.
Yeah, I wish you that happens, like that's how you progress and see the fruits of your hard work.
Yeah, I just have too much fun seeing it and take such delight in watching people that I've started to work with. And it's been 10, 15 years, and wow, what a difference in the person. And that's what I get out of it, besides just enjoying it. But that's a really big benefit for me.
So this holistic thing which you're doing, is it one-on-one? coaching?
It could be one-on-one. I got certified as a what they call a naturopathy practitioner. And really what that means is people always think of regular medicine versus holistic medicine. And it's really for naturopathy, it's a 360. So doctors can run tests and they can do this and that and help us get starting points. We spend time, so a regular doctor, if you go for a visit, maybe 10 minutes. And we spend at least 45 minutes to an hour because we're really looking to see why is this happening and trying to address it in that regard. And then just the side effects thing is just such a mess because you never can tell what's going to really happen. And it just really makes such a difference on your body that, like I said, I have skin sensitivities and it just really hand over fist. And sinus here, I live in, of course, at Tracy is a lot of food grown here. So the pollen can get real crazy and make it a challenge. That's how I got involved with the organization that I'm with now, because I just could not breathe very well. And every time I'd go by a beautiful blooming almond orchard with those brilliant pink things, tears would just be running down my face because of the challenge. And then I got someone that I could work with, and within 15 minutes, and that's all I've ever taken since. And I can go run around in the almond orchard, or have the people next door to me run their lawnmower, and it doesn't faze me a bit. So that's the difference, and it just really helps me overall.
Does
You
it,
feel good, you can do good.
do you have a separate website for this?
Yes. I'm trying to remember what so everything else is automatic in my yes, it's myйл.com/MKFGRIESE. So MF, that's my name, Maggie Foresee Griese. So myйл.com/MKFGRIESE. So I've been working. And then Griese and I work together. So things like out in the community as a whole, a lot of times, especially things like at Chamber, she'll represent our holistic business. I'll represent the TTAC, or Tracy Theater Arts Collaborative business. So we have the opportunity to make that networking connections however we need to help facilitate. And again, because of her age bracket, she works a lot with women that are just having horrendous, again, right now, horrendous times with hormones is just crazy. And so, of course, I'm on the older end, so I can work kind of with those menopause up, and she works on the other side of that. She has 5 children, and so she has a little bit of history with, having, and the first 4 are pretty close together. And so being able to do that and dealing with everyday pressures and having the opportunities to deal with how your hormones to get jacked no matter what. So stress is there and it affects everything. So we really, again, try to just work from that and keep ourselves in the best overall health situation that we can, and try to help others do the same, because it really makes a difference.
I know. Thank you very much, Maggie. And it was really informative. You have been transitioning from one line to another to another. That's pretty impressive. And it belongs to your creativity. You can create, once a creator can create in any sphere of life, right?
Yeah, well, I really appreciate it. Nancy was a great person to discuss with, and the other day when we were at a lunch. So I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you.
If you ever get a chance, look at one of our websites, globalcommunitykitchen.com.
Okay.
And we create jobs for women that are distressed, women, teaching them. And there's one lady that cooks 120 pancakes a day. It's all nutritious, vegetarian.
Mhm.
And these are done in India because it's more cost effective. We want to start having it here too. One in Tracy's. We're
Sure.
looking.
So globalcommunitykitchen.com.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'll take a look at that.
Okay,
And
Maggie,
it's
Under
hopefully-
our, it's under our 501c3 Global Women Power. Go ahead. Uncle.
Okay.
hopefully I will see you short sometime when I visit Tracy.
Okay, I would love that.
Yes.
See what stories we can swap.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're
Mira.
welcome.
Thank you, Maggie. Bye.
Mhm, you're welcome.